got a question here from Philippe saying about melodies. Obviously, you're really known about for your melodies, and so how do you go about that? Do you use scales? Are you theory? Are you all about the theory, or are you just playing from your heart, or what?
Um, I've been playing piano for quite a long time, and generally speaking, I just kind of play stuff in live. I mean, I can show you pretty much my workflow. I'll just load up. Let's open up a.
Nate, I'm going to set you a challenge.
Yeah.
We didn't do this in the last class. I want you to make a lead. I want you to make a lead. I want you to show us how you jam it in, how you'd come up with a melody. I'd like to see how you make maybe a more sort of uplifting style patch.
Cool.
And then once that's done, I want you to fuck it up and make it psychedelic.
Cool. Okay. I'd say what we'll do is we'll just take out the melodies that are in here now, and we'll write some new ones. We'll do something just to go with that vocal. So let me just actually remove whatever was in there before, and I want to get rid of those as well. Okay, I'll put them all down. Where's the melodies? Let's do some stuff there. Okay, so two different kinds of melodies I might do, like the more driving stuff, which is going to turn into sort of like a main thing. And then also I really like kind of doing these sort of plucked melodies. I'll go back to that Star Child preset just because I really like working with that. Let's find out what key we're in. Okay, A. So pretty much I just load up a loop like we've done now. And I'm just going to play some ideas in. That's about it. Yeah. So there's no tricks to it. It's just playing by ear.
Well, the trick is years of musical practice. Piano.
So yeah, so that should essentially be a lead done. Like I'll often just go in there now and fix that. I mean, there might be a few like quantization problems and stuff. I'll go and fix it. But I think that'll probably be quite. Yeah, the timing's off on some of them just because Cubase doesn't always do a great job of keeping the quantize right. So what I'd do is I'd go and just edit those manually. Like that one, for example, should be there. Those are slightly out. I'm not gonna spend too much time going over those. So we'll try and do another lead now.
I think we get the point of what you're going for there.
So you want to do something a little bit more?
No, I want to see how you'd actually make a patch for sort of like uplifting style things. So you could use that melody or whatever. So let's make it for the uplifting crowd, and then let's mess it up, twist it upside down, see maybe put more of a psychedelic twist on it.
Because the problem with just making a patch, first of all, is I generally don't just make patches. I make comps of patches. So I'll make one and then add other stuff to it.
Okay.
generally speaking, like the more uplifting stuff, I'll often do chords.
Mhm.
Well, we just quickly. I'm not going to talk too much. I'm just going to quickly just kind of bang together a patch here quickly. So we'll do. Um, we'll go unisono with this. We're not going to make this one too tight. Give it a little bit of. A little bit of a reverb. I think let's do filter. Yeah, and this is really quick. I'm just kind of.
Hey.
I spend a lot more time just sort of tweaking things afterwards, but okay, so we've got a really simple melody. Okay, so there's like an idea for the lead. Like, it often comes out really messy, and then you just kind of tweak it from there.
Tweak it till it rocks is pretty much the
Yeah.
protocol, isn't it?
So we got like a rough idea. So with the main leads like this, I'll kind of have different melodies, but I kind of keep the sort of sequence of notes pretty much the same, so that they kind of generate a little bit of their own sort of rhythm almost.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll see, like, I'll actually, like, once I've done them live, I'll usually go and sit with a mouse going through them.
Yeah.
And we can keep going. Let's make it 2 bars like that.
I think this really answers people's questions really well about how to make melodies, because in my experience, this is exactly how you make melodies. You just keep on moving it and 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 keep on moving it.
I mean, like,
until it sounds good.
I usually start off with a live thing and then you kind of tweak it from there. I think it's important to try and play the stuff yourself, because there is like a spontaneity about it then that you can kind of just tweak after the fact, you know. Okay, so I'll just try and get to that. You asking about the more psytrance kind of thing. Psytrance melodies, I find like
not so much melody. Like, say, because we're sort of running on time as well. So say that this was what you had. Say if you were to maybe manipulate this in massive or with processing or audio, how would you take this to the next level manipulation wise?
Okay. So we'll do like a harsher kind of lead now, and then I'll do some post processing on top of that, so you guys can see like what we'd do with that. So I'm just gonna create like a not necessarily in line with this track. Oh, actually, I'll put the section over a kick and a bass just so.
Yes, yeah.
It's completely off the cuff. I haven't planned any of this. We'll just
that's what we want,
guys.
You saw it here first, guys.
We'll get that one going in there. See, this is why I have the quantize set up on a QWERTY keyboard like that. It just makes life so much quicker when you're editing like this.
There's also the control drag thing, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. What I should do is actually set this up to reset the start position every time you push space, which is kind of handy. That every time you stop it, it'll go back to its start position. What I'm doing now is I have to keep hitting 1 every time, which is kind of annoying.
Sorry, how did you do that?
What you mean? Do the stop position like that?
So it goes back to the every time you.
Oh, it's not set up now, but in Cubase you can actually set it to return to start on stop.
Like
so,
like Ableton style.
Yeah,
Oh,
pretty
cool.
much, yeah. Which is kind of handy for when you're doing leads this way, you know, if you want to.
Yeah.
Almost there. So like something a little bit darker.
I can already see that like you're doing something which I've seen a lot in trance, which is having the fundamental like as the kind of baseline note, and then like having a melody deviating away from that. But also something which people should really try a lot of is varying the note lengths like that. Like
it
adds a lot more expression.
Makes it a little bit more dynamic, yeah. Just to add something different. Say again?
We've got little variations there.
Yeah, I like doing these little hooks at the end of melodies. Like something like that. Like I'd probably sit and tweak it a little bit more if we had more time. So there's a melody like when I'm doing like sort of more harsh things. So let's jump back to let's see what we'll do. We'll try.
I'd love to see how you EQ these kind of leads. High pass.
EQing. Well, okay. Firstly, what I'll often do is we're going to do some distortion on it. So we'll go to D16. I want to just use this Devastorm. Okay. When I was talking about layering again earlier, I really like that distortion sound, but I also really like the clean sound. So I'm just going to duplicate them. We'll just take the distortion off that one. Let's just see what happens if I put a stereo delay plugin on that. Cool. Cool. So now we've got a little bit more. You can pull the volume down on that. So you get like a little mix between the clean version and the and that one. Now to melodies like this, I like to add a little bit of audio, movement to it. Like you could do that with automation if you want, or you can go and make a preset. Like let's say, for instance, take a filter from here. Let's do that Torquay thing that we had earlier and see what happens. Cool. I like that. So we'll do modifier. Oh God, please don't crash my system again. Oh, there we go. I'm gonna actually just try something here and just try and use an LFO to modulate the rate of the LFO. There we go. And use that one to do that. Yeah, so that's a little bit of movement going on there.
So
I'll actually crunch this one up slightly. Cool. So
anything more you do with that synth?
Like anything more? Like how do you mean?
With massive, any little massive?
Oh yeah. Well, no. Like what I might do here is actually on the clean one, maybe just add some like more movement on it as well. Like maybe just change the clean one's filter to a band pass. Are we on the right one? Yeah. Maybe on this one you'd actually do that in automation. I mean, that would take a bit of time to go and automate that now. Also, I'll leave that on. No, off. Okay, now what I wanted to show you as well was a couple of little tricks to working with leads like this. Let's say I'm going to move these over to a section with kick and a bass just so that we can kind of mess around with those. We got a kick here. Yes, there we go. Okay, let's just grab that section. We'll work with that. Baseline will be that one. Cool. So just quick EQ on these. So, handy little thing, like, say now this is our main lead that's playing in a section of the track. Like, we're often going to have little breaks happening at the end of each kind of section there. So we'll just do that with a kick quickly. So like a cool way of filling up those little breaks. And just put a sweep sound in there as well, just that we've got something going on. Cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bounce the audio from those two files quickly. So we'll just do, where are we? Massive 13 and copy of Massive 13. So there we go. Want those two. What I'm doing here is just batch exporting, so I don't have to solo them again. So we'll just go batch export and import to channel. Cool. So this is part of the reason why I put these things into audio all the time, because you can start doing really cool stuff with chopping them up. And this, you can't do this in MIDI. You can't get that kind of like cut audio sound in in MIDI when you're doing these little bits. So now I've got like two of the same section here with playing different sounds, so we'll keep them together. Ah, shit, sorry, we've got everything running at the same time. Let me just solo those again. Percussion and kick and bass. So yeah, I mean, just kind of doing it just on this little section here. Going in here and actually being able to cut up the audio now is really cool. This is where you can kind of start having loads of fun. Quick way to do it, just quantize. And
so you've kind of taken it to the next level now. You're out of the MIDI world, and now you're.
Yeah, and this is how I do. I mean, again, I'm kind of rushing through this as quickly as possible because I don't have all that much time to tweak them. But this is pretty much how I write most of my music. I kind of get that lead going, and then I'll do all the interesting stuff in audio. So. And I mean, like, you can see how quickly you can actually get in here and just, without even using any effects, I'm just cutting stuff and moving them around. Again, the reason why I've got that thing on is because I can get kind of like BT stutter edit vibes going. You can actually see this as well. I've got that stereo delay thing on. You can see what it's doing there.
Yeah.
It's actually making them slightly delayed. I mean, okay, this is just like quickly.
Nice.
Without any plugins, just a little bit of chopping and cutting, you can do that. And yeah, so a lot of those bits and pieces that sound like they've really been automated loads and stuff is actually just a little bit of reversing and chopping. Simple as that. So people always ask me, like, what's your biggest tip? And this really is it. Spend time on making stuff interesting by layering it. And if you look at the lead section for this track over here, these 4 tracks and all this automation is just for the same MIDI sequence. They're all playing the same things. There's no real change between any of them other than the sound and the treatment of the sound. So you'll have a look at the main lead. Yeah, it's a really, really pretty sound, but I mean, it's a little bit thin. It's kind of doing what I want in the beginning when the filter's coming in. I mean, that's nice, but it's not really enough to, base a whole track around. So we'll start with putting in something else. Let's double check what this is. Okay. So I found the attacks and stuff on that one were a little bit soft. So you put in something that's got a little bit more of an attack to it. This one's got a bigger reverb, which actually drops out there in the automation. But still not really, it's getting there. So we put in something else. So this one's like quite a bit dirtier now. You've got like more detune. This is sort of adding a bit more grit to it. I think we might have even put, okay, no, it's all just inside massive. No, there isn't really. Oh, there's a bit of this SNH distortion on it, the sample and hold. So now you're getting something that's really nice and beefy. At this point, I still wasn't happy with the attack. It still wasn't plucky enough for me, so we did a 4th sound down here.
Oh, that's the one.
Yeah. Which kind of sounds shit by itself, but it's when you kind of you kind of add them all together. That's when you start getting this really massive sound. And the same goes for percussion. The same goes for bass line. You put them all together. You get that nice big sort of lead sound. And the same goes, like, you know, exactly like we're talking about with the percussion now.
It's the process is like this. I always put kick and bass, put it 8 bars, you know, and just played it, and trying to find like some FXs as I call them, like some short things with the delay on the reverb. So basically, this one, just a second, is the first one. This one is probably done with the massive or some yeah. Let's try to use silent, for example, like, because I always bounce my when I'm done working with it, I just record it, so I have it in wave. It's more stable, you know, than staying in a MIDI file with all the plugins on top. It's not good for a processor, you know, and for everything, because as you can see, my projects are going really deep. This one is not even that big. Usually I have 150 channels with routing crazily, blah blah blah. So
what kind of computer are you using? Is it quite a fast one?
I'm on a PC with i7 and 8 gigabytes of RAM, and I really because I figured out that my computer was stopping me for, you know, being more creative or more concentrated on the creative process. So for me it was really important to have like good speakers, good DA converters, and really fast computer.
Yeah.
Those things are what was stopping me, you know, to be more faster and more creative for a long time.
I think there's something really to be said for bouncing all your parts down to audio. I mean, on the one hand, sure, it's obviously, as I'm sure you guys know, you know, if you start getting a really complex project going on, you have a million synths going, you only need one of those to break and your project can go out the window. But the other thing that's really good about the audio is that it kind of forces you to commit to what's going on, and it's like, if you've got this sound, it's like, cool, this is my sound. And it makes, I think it can help often if you have too many options. It's like, it's another way to just remove that extra bit of distraction. It's like, cool, I've made this sound, here's this sound, let's go move on to the next bit, you know. That's often something that
for sure.
Cool. So I mean, this is the Eclipse sound that we're looking at right here. Is all these effects. Is that something that you were doing from the start, or, I mean, you've gone kind of crazy with it, but it's obviously to good effect. Like this.
Yeah. Sometimes I use those kind of presets, you know, like from Macy or something. But basically, if you can hear, all of them are like the same as the leads. You know, just like as I had in this silent, which I was. No, not this one, but everybody can make this sound really quickly. It's just like 4 voices of saw with resonance on the. Oh no, I need to make it init pressed. Yeah, 4 of the voice on the band pass with a lot of resonance and the distortion. So. Something like that, and you put it on a, for example, Echo Boy 138 1.8. No, that. So you put feedback a lot and low cut and a high cut a bit. This is only quick, you know.
Yeah.
And then you put some reverb on it, you know. And do some automatization even Even you don't need to do it like this. You can do it like, I don't know, cut off A and B with. You can put it one layer down, one up.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
And you have it, you know, from the scratch. We started from zero from here. And maybe if you want to make it more dynamic, you can put, like, I'm using this SPC Gator Pro. I have here because it's different, so basically, so you can control the shape, the swing, and the rate and everything, the mix. Like, you can make a little bit.
Well, that is awesome.
Basically, you know, that's kind of things what I'm doing, and maybe more feedback.
Jep's got a question here. I'm not sure that I quite understand your question.
I think I do understand it, actually.
Okay.
I mean, I think Jep's hitting on something which I myself picked up, and which I think Marco uses to big effect, which is to have, like, if you have a great kick and bass, then that sounds great. But if you want to make it the whole sound really, really polished, you have these long delaying sounds kind of in the background. And just having like these long just having these long delays and reverbs, would you find that's like a mainstay of how you get your sound to always sound kind of wet and liquidy and atmospheric?
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I think that I call them the tails. For my music, you see, this tail is big, like 8 bars.
Yeah.
And almost all of them are. So if you are just soloing those things that have the tails, you will hear what kind of ambience I'm getting. You know, just it's like only here from FXs, you know. It's many different things, but this is what is filling the track, and where the ambience is. It's a lot of delaying and reverbing all the track. You know, it's, for me, yeah, it's this combinating with in combination with some kind of leads, like short leads, like plaits, or like this one here. It's just it's the same tone with one preset, one with open cutoff and one with closed. So it's like,
okay.
And this is how they change, you know. It's for me really important. Like, we have 3 layers here. We have this one. It's just like one pluck or one bass with a cutted bass and with a big reverb on it. It's yeah, but it's because I pulled a lot of 1K here, and you have a so, and they are changing, and when you play it with kick and bass. Yeah, I think I missed one sound here. Need to find it. I know, maybe it's going later. This is really interesting in my track. What gave something special, I think, for my track, for this special track, was those 5 layers, like how they together.
Yeah.
And with combination with other loops, like with this one here.
Yeah, so they're sort of talking to each other. There's a little sort of conversation going on.
Okay. So it's really important, the positioning, where the things are going. So when you have a lot of material, loop it, you know, just loop it and play around, you know, change the positions, and even, you know, you see, everything is the same, repeating all the time. This is only one section going all the way. I always glue it on a 4 bars, so I know this is like 8 bars, you know. For me, this is like a loop. Yeah, everything else is half of loop or whatever. For me, this is and basically what's happening here is going all the way the same way, you know. Just sometimes I mute this because there is some change about here. We will now hear what's happening. Basically it's the same, just I need to check what. Yeah, it's some kind of little bass. So just play around, layer a lot of things together, you know, in a different ways, and the positioning and the choosing of those kind of effects, it's really important, you know, like for the music that that I like to make.
Let's move on now to synths.
Yeah. Synths basically are always the blue. Okay. Yeah, so I can. This is all bounced, yeah, but usually most of them are used from the silent. I have some of my presets saved, probably that I used here. Okay, just draw something here and like load. Something like this. But basically you can see it's a band pass filter with 4 saws and yeah, a little bit cutoff, and I think this is really important. Yeah, like a little bit of drive on it, and detune is even the stereo if you like to be more. If you can see, it's only one because silent have 2 parts, so you can use 4 oscillators, but it's only one. So basically on the video, when you are seeing this, you will be really able really quickly to do the same sound like this, because it's nothing more, you know, just like resonance up and that's it.
Yeah,
also,
silent is it's like what you were saying earlier. Silent is really good synth to learn on, because it's just so simply laid out, and everything's right in front of you. There's no hidden menus or anything, you know, like.
Yeah, and you have everything so on the one place, and only what I don't like about the silent is the stereo separation, because sometimes I find it really mono. But basically I solve it with there is a Vox & Go plugin called PH979, which we'll be talking a lot about in the kick and bass section. But for now it's also really good, because actually what it has this force mono, LF light and left and right swap and mono mix. So basically I don't use this section, but it's really good when you have sound in mono. Like for example, I will make this more mono. You just delay the left and right the left and right channel. So basically how I do it, I just a little bit move the left channel like in the minus and speed up a little bit on the ref. So
yeah.
Also you have here how wide you want to go, so basically you can solve it really easily.
Super stereo.
Yeah, stereo is not that much of problem for it.
No.
But basically it's great distortion, EQing, compression. I don't know. I never use the I always use from some other plugins, from a FabQ or maybe from SSL channel strip or whatever.
Yeah.
So basically this is it's too bad. Probably it's something like this. Let me hear. Yeah, it's the same sound. So you can see the MIDI how it's going. It's basically the same tone, just in the 2 octaves. You know, it's just going like. And you can see the it's actually the just a second, the sine wave, yeah, 2 times, and yeah. Wow, this is really strange. It's it's sine wave. But anyway, if you distort a sine wave, sorry.
I thought it was a saw, but there you
go. Yeah, I
I
thought also, but it's a sine wave basically. But if you if you just a second, yeah, if I turn off the you see it's really soft, but when you distort it,
oh
yeah, you get something really different. And there is, if you can see, yeah, for sure, always a lot of EQing, because you see what's happening here. Another EQ, actually this one I'm using only as a filter. I'm like putting it the low pass, high pass to here, and just automate it to move it, you know, up. It's working just as a filter, and I also can high pass it here, you know. This is why it's so good for me to you can control so many bands as you like. And also we have a compressor. You can see how much I compress, not that much. Also a little bit of LFO tool, just a little bit, you know, to get this Y beat. This is really flat one.
Yeah.
But it's interesting that just a little bit the subtlety. That's one thing often with processing, is like less is definitely more in many cases, you know, especially with dynamics and stuff. It's like often you hear pieces of music that are just super compressed and like majorly over processed, and it just sounds really, really, I mean, it might sound good for the period of time, but it's like what we were talking about earlier. If you take a break and come back to it, it's like it will just smash your face off, and it's good to sort of train your ear to listen out for these sorts of things, because
for sure.
Yeah.
But a lot of really a lot of music today is really about compression, and you would get really shocked how much results you can get from a compressor, like for the snares or something, from the kick, when you cannot find the bad spots, like the bad frequency, put compressor on it, you know, you will destroy the dynamic range. But it's for the people who are more lazy, you know. If you wanna fast results, like, you can do it, but it's not, for me, it's not the right way that you go. I mean, if there is a bad frequency, I would really like to know where it is and why it's there, you know. Basically, I figure it out that, like, you want to control it, because it can happen again, and you maybe not be able, you know, to just put one magic plugin on it and solve the problem. So
yeah, of course.
Get the problem, like, understand it and try to fix it on a proper way. But sometimes if it's not working,
you can't be lazy there.
Yeah. But for today, because you need to be super fast, you will find so many the people are using compressors for so many different things, like for EQing or something, you know, putting on a kick and bass, everything, blah blah, here and here. Yeah, so basically, this layer, you saw it's just going up, and actually what I did, I this layer I muted and I saved it, like, because I wanted to have it in MIDI. Maybe I want to layer it once more again or something, so I just muted it. And this is the audio that I got from which I was EQing a little bit more, you see, just a little bit, because probably it was hurting the mix, somewhere. So I just put it another, just a little bit, 500, put it down.
Okay. Marco's all-time 3 favorite synths, and why?
Basically, they are soft synths, because I didn't had too much contact with the hardware. I have Virus over here. I tried Minimoog, but for me, soft synths are much better. I was hoping that it's not true, you know, that with hardware synths I will get something, but I realized that I will not get many things, you know. Basically, for me, number 1 is Trillian, because I do all my bass lines from the scratch, so from the beginning, from the zero. So without I don't know how I would replace the Trillion.
Yeah.
Because it has a lot of those. If you go to the like empty mode, like no presets in here, just sound sources. If you go here, you have all different waveforms like pulse, PM waveforms. So if you go to the saw, which you make a baseline from the saw basically, you can use a PVM or a square, but 95% are done with the saw oscillator. So you have like from ARP 2600, MS20, TB 303, and all others. So basically, they are all waveforms from those hardware synths. So basically, with this piece of gear, you have too many options for using all these analog oscillators. So this is why, yeah.
It's very complete.
And filter is so detailed. The envelopes, everything.
Yeah.
Really detailed, really precise, and it's what is most important is really stable.
Yeah.
Cool. And then,
so this is one.
Yeah.
Another one is for sure the silent, as I spoke already about, because it's really easy and it sounds good for sure, and also a lot of presets. I mean, I'm not a big fan of presets, but when you need to work fast or something, and when you have it can give you at least an idea where to start from.
Yeah.
But basically, all of my presets that I made here are all from menu init presets. So basically, nothing, and just build it up, playing around. Yeah.
Okay. Sound is amazing. Those stereo knobs sound great, and the distortion, the filters, filter envelopes, even like the chorus, like can get some amazing.
The phase is really
like,
good.
Yeah. And yes, you have built-in phase thing, so you can fix. You can even do a good bass line with the silent. When I'm on the road, I basically do bass lines with silent.
Yeah.
Okay, second. With silent. Okay. And the third one is Massive from Native Instruments, for sure.
Of course.
Yeah. Also really simple one, and you can do really crazy things with it, especially conta envelope. You can use 4 envelopes, attach them to any sources here. LFOs, routing is also can be changed. The voicing, you also have here, like you can to the phases, so it can be stable. You can do so crazy things with him, and it's also really rich with the banks and with the things. So
it's unlimited.
It's really it's really useful. I really find it one of the most useful, and also most of the pitch synths effects, like psytrance. They call some of guys, they call them frogs. I build with Macy, and
Cool, man. Okay, that's amazing. Maybe we can look at some of your favorite plugins as well.
Like effects processing.
Oh, this is really big list, but anyway, let's see. FabQ. It's not that good as an EQ as it's good as an interface. Really quick, so double click and you can find. When you are holding a control, you can control the Q when you go up and down. You have analyzer on the back. Like, so you can see. Like something. Basically, it's not so good analyzer. It's not precise, but you can see what is happening, where the peaks are, and also about the mid left and right that I told already. So many options. You have bell, left, all what you need. From EQs also, I will speak a little bit more on about the DMG audio and equality when we come back to the kick and bass section. And also the whole FabQ bundle is really good. Also the Sound Toys, probably the best plugins that I ever found. The whole pack,
all of them, like really crazy.
Yeah.
Crystallizer, the Decatur, Echo Boy, Filter Freak, Pan Man, Phase Mistress. Basically, I'm not using all of them. Like this radiator is
that's quite nice little.
Is a simulator from a tube mixer from the 60s. So I like a lot of what tube things are doing, like tube EQs, tube mixers. It's you get a little warmness in the low end. Like they have a little bit of coloring on the low end, so you get more round sound, not that digital and pumpy. It's kind of bringing to the analog mode. Also from Sound Toys, the Decapitator, whatever it's called, you know. Yeah, it's kind of saturation, which I use for basically for the leads and everything. So you just drop it in, you know, leave it on the without nothing. You still can hear the, you know, if you have a lot of high end, really sharp, you know, it will be a little bit softer, you know, and basically I'm using it for a saturation, but it's really good. Also, the Sonox, the whole bundle is killer. Dynamic EQ, Oxford is one of the most famous.
Yeah, that's EQ.
The reverb is killer. Limiter is good for some things, but I'm not using it for the stereo output on my master channel, because it little bit colored the low end. You will get a bit more low end than you put it there, so it's not kind of flat. Also, sorry, just a second. And suppressor is something that I figured out lately. It's made for the S's, you know, when the singers are calling, when they sing the S, you know, it can be really, so you can, you know, suppress it. But basically, I'm using it when I do, when I make kick and bass, I basically put it on the kick and bass group as a as a low frequency limiter, you know. So I basically know that they should be around -18, -19, depends how. So the 50 and the 1000 basically I go from a 100 to till 20 hertz. So basically I make sure that here I'm not having because it's really hard to hear those frequencies, you know. You need to have a really super room and everything. The Sonox, Sound Toys, Fab are killer, and the Waves for sure. And yeah, from the reverts, the CRS are my favorite. So, but there are really too many of them, like those Bootsy and, you know, like all of them. Yeah, they are so crazy. Also, audio damage. This EOS reverb is the biggest reverb I ever heard. You know, like you put it on a 2% and it's so big. You know, the vapor is really good if you have some sharp sounds. You know, to make it a little bit more muddier, blah blah. And so many plugins, man.
Fully.
Sure.
Cool. Well, I mean,
Walks and go.
Yeah, from looking at it, I mean, it seems like a lot of your sound is coming from, for instance, particularly using synths like Silent, and also like using the Echo Boy and the CSR reverbs, which I'd actually say are, these are all quite popular in the, you know, certainly Silent, certainly Echo Boy. I mean, the
massive,
Cool. Well, we just wanted to take a look at what you really rated, and also can't stress enough the LFO tool. It's just like everyone's using it.
For sure.
Like that's
like
just.
If we see here the plugin information, and we say in this project, we will see that I have this is standard pan. I have 65 Fab Qs, 12 CRS. Yeah, this is BX, like Brainworks equalizer, which is really good. 8 LFO tools, 8 Fab hub filter, compressors, 6 silence, 6 EOS, 6 bionic delays. Transient designer is really good, but I found out that from the dynamics, the envelope shaper is maybe a little bit better. Dub station is also delay that I mentioned. C4. C4 I use only for a bass.
Yeah.
And maybe sometimes when I cannot, do some other things.
So and here you have it, folks. This is we're looking at
the breakdown.
The breakdown right in front of your very eyes. Eclipse's favorite plugins, ordered and how often he uses them.
You voted in Retrig by Major 7 and Big Brother. Is that right? And yes, so what inspired you to write this track? Was it Big Brother was a friend coming through town, or?
Well, the guy who called the Big Brother is Eran. He's a guy that I worked with him in the really start when I started to do music.
Okay.
Under the name Point. Point was I left Point when I started to do X Noise. I took just a part. We can go back after that to the track that you saw to discuss other things, but I just took a part to show you because this is kind of like the hook of the track, okay? Well, there's lots of things that make a hook, in tracks, But every track that you do have to have something,
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's a bunch of techniques.
Yeah.
A bunch of techniques work whenever all the progressive ways started. It worked for some people, but then people start to look for hooks. Hooks is melodies. Hooks is something that you can lean into it, Something
Remember.
Yeah. Usually, it's actually solved the track because the track can be very, very produced good, but then there have to be something to be interesting, very interesting over there. So I think, there's lots of things in that track that actually you are good. It's not the only hook in that track, but this one is very, the way we found it, the way we did it, it's a kind of like a way that you can learn from it. I just took a lead. This one is an Anna. You can all see the screen, right?
Yeah.
This one is an Anna. Yeah. The Anna synth that we talked about before.
Yeah.
And this one is the same thing in mono, just for the production. And this one is a silent, okay? And what we did here is let's hear it in the track. It sounds inside. There is a distortion. And that's the same lead. That's what I'll do. Okay. So that lead.
So just there, can you just run us through what makes up the lead in particular? So you've got like, it looks like there's a filter opening and closing, a gradual pitch, right?
Yeah, well,
can you just show us sort of anatomy
of that? With it's actually a sound of a guitar in a way, you know, but it's a synth, but it sounds like a guitar outside, okay? But it started really deep inside of the track, from low filter, and then it goes inside and starts to change the rhythm, and then the filter, and then in the end it just become a rhythm lead like this. It sounds like a guitar. Ta, 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 ta. Okay,
so that's all one synth.
All one synth, yeah.
Okay, let's
with
take
one
a look.
layer, with one layer, and okay. And the way I did it is, I'm using it a lot. It's simple. You take in the chords note, and taking the chord notes and you're doing a pitch 12 or 24 up on them on the synthesizer. Let's see the synthesizer. In this one, the band range is 12. And on the silent, that you all know better, let's work on the silent, okay? Because you know it better. Here's a 12, okay? So
camel fat a filter
you don't hear me, right? You don't hear me, right? So usually use with a camel fat. When you're using a camel fat as a filter, people use you have a resonance. That's why I'm using it, and you also have a compression here. That make and you have a distortion. So that's why I'm using the camel fat. Yeah, I'm using it a lot, especially when the leads have to have a modulation of filter. So it's like this one. And then we got a stereo delay because this was 4 and 4, okay? And after that, this stereo delay become nothing because is disconnecting because of this becomes like triplets, right? The main picture is here on the Ana. Automation. So you got the Saturn that making the sound like a guitar that we talked before. This time I use it.
You got the distortion in Saturn.
And you're running it through a guitar sim? Is that the guitar modeling?
Yeah, I'm using this one as a saturator, you know, make it a guitar sound on a synthesizer. I'm using then a compression and another more distortion, and then of course you have this you have the filter here, okay? I'm using also the filter of the synths, of course. As more as you can use this filter of the synths, is better, of course. So there is automation also on the filter, on this, and then there is these tricks that I'm doing, and that comes with the LFO too. You see the triplets that remind us that we're gonna go into triplets soon. Let me pick up the volume.
Okay. So
So here we go with this one. And this one is another one to just make, and then you have two stereos delay that one of them will come, they will change into T when it comes here, of course. Just now, where is the R? Yeah, here we go. And there it's the T. And it make it shorter in the end with a different LFO too. So you have a lot of plugins, and in the end, of course, you bounce it, and you make sure with the stereo and everything, the pan doesn't have to be always with the, in a very importantly, the pan doesn't have to be automatically on 100, okay? People use that a lot, and then they lose in the middle, okay? Also better to try to do all the delays and everything in mono. especially when you're talking about a part that sounds like a guitar. You know?
Mm-hmm.
So you have more mono in the track. We feel more grip on the track.
Mm-hmm.
So this is any questions for this one? Ask if there is any questions about it.
Well, so you're automating 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're automating a lot of stuff there. Would you say that
automating? Look, it's automating. Automating is a lot. Look, there is automation here on all these plugs, and then there's automation also here in the group over here. More filter on all of them together, and then there is also on this. Stereo out, it doesn't matter. Stereo out, I want to talk about something else here, but not this. Anyway, so I'm trying to do as much as I can automation on the synthesizer before I take it down, okay? Because you're using much more parameters on the synthesizers when you talk about like not just filtering. Sometimes it's also most of the time it's inserts and also inside of the synthesizer itself. To do as much as you can. In this one, I use more inserts, but because I just like the sound, I shape it and.
And why did you choose? Why are you aiming to do it inside the synth as opposed to afterwards? What's your intention with that?
Because it sounds more natural. It sounds much more. You know, like when you're building a beautiful lead and the filter sometimes sounds so good in the synthesizer, you nearly don't need an external filter on it when you're mixing it inside of a track. You nearly don't, you know? Some synthesizer, you can actually take a really good result by pushing the resonance a little bit high on the filter and doing a really nice, some not, you know? So you do an external filter.
Okay.
In this one, I like more the filter outside because it sounds more crunchy.
Okay.
I'm using a lot of pitching drawing on synthesizer. A lot. I'm using that transpose a lot. Like every sound nearly. I really like the pitch in the end, you know? Like boom, chung, all the shots and everything. I really like the pitching. It's the way I work, you know? So to do a pad like that, which is pitch, was something new for me because it was chording and then it becomes also there is a melody. The biggest part on it was the melody, to fit the melody that is not gonna detune. This melody here, you know? On the pitching, you know? That really, when it hits the ground of the pitch, you have to be very accurate with the arpeggiator. So that was the main issue here that I spent a lot of time on the curve on the pitch, okay? And then after that, you know, when it's set, then everything was good, you know? Here it's in audio, the same thing that you okay? And then, of course, in this track, you know, the thing that I like about this track is that this arpeggiator become from 4/4 to 3/4, okay? Okay, no key. Okay, now about the there is like few drums here, which is like there is this very important loop pitch. I'm gonna pick it up.
Wow.
So
How'd you get that?
Here that goes just pitch it. You just need to pitch it. So you can take any kind of loop that you like, which have a low mid, good low mid. You know, you usually in a track need a loop with the low mid frequencies, because most of the people, you know, we can find good loop that runs on hi-hats and high mids, but low mid it's kind of look, you don't find a lot of low mid loops anyway. So when you have a low mid loop, then you can pitch it. You have meat, you know. So I did it with the sound shifter. I like the sound shifter. Okay. But for the sound shifter, you know, I'm opening sound shifter, you know, you need a very strong computer. If you're opening about 10 sound shiftering in a track, using for pitches and stuff like that, you just start to get heavy. So, and put it on sync. It will probably move, though it's sync. But it doesn't matter that it's gonna move. You're gonna cut it and then do it again, you know? And then you can pitch it.
You're automating that.
You're automating probably even 2 times, so it will be 24 sometime. 12 here and another 12.
Is that a common?
It's working.
Is that a common?
It's a common thing for me, and also a common thing for me is also to take everything and just do envelope and pitching, like that.
Yeah, we've got quite a few questions. So, what signal chains do you use in terms of sends? What's going on the sends?
The send effects. It's a good question. Let me check what we have on the send effects. All right, so we got a reverb, a delay, stereo delay, a ping pong delay, and don't forget that it's
reverb?
Which reverb? What is this one? Roomworks.
Wow.
Look, guys, I'm telling you the truth. The thing with the FX channels, I'm using a very simple FX channels, but I put in a compressor after that, you know, to make it strong, and I'm putting LFO if I want, you know, and that's a really cool effect. Yeah, and then there is this effect that is going up and down, which is make it more tact if I want, you know. So you can use whatever you want. The FX channel is a channel that you can fill with lots of things on it and automate it also. The more you're going to automate the AUX channels, the FX channel, it will get more exciting. Because suddenly you can find yourself using things that you never used before. So I advise you guys, you see? Here we go. The sample is in front of your face. Ping pong delay, normal one. And then a sound shifter, a compressor, and a sound shifter after it again.
Okay,
so
can you run through that chain and sort of turn each plugin on one by one so we can see the effects of each one having?
Well, I guess this one was used before, and then I download everything. You see, because this is already. But I can see by because there is no automation anymore. You see, the automation is blank.
So it's balanced.
And the sound shifter is off. Yeah. Don't see any activation of the sound shifter, you see? So it was done before, so we need to go to the early stages. But can you understand what's going on here, you know? Because if I'm going to open, which is it's number 3, if I'm going to open a sound and I'm going to put, let's open a normal sound and do a delay of it or something like that. And you can hear what it did. Let's take this one. Fuck it, I'm going to delete it. Okay, here we go. We have this sound. It was down. Let's go and do the pitch. Like this. So you have a sound. Let me do that. Cut these ones. You have a sound that you want to pitch for a long time. It helps in a lot of tricks in a way. Like usually it's a really nice trick. Look at this.
So you'd automate that.
And it goes up in the pitch. Automated pitch on the ping pong delay. There is maybe a plug that I like to control it. You know?
The Santor is crystallizer. The Santor is crystallizer.
Yeah, well, it's just helping me to do some stuff. Sometimes I'm just putting it like, I can put the delay. I can put, I will say that all the delay will be 12 down. It will be also a nice effect, you know? You open this and then it will be 12 down. It would be nice. That's a way to do it. What else I got here on the FX? Here we go, another Roomworks and a filter after it. Definitely look at the last one also with envelope shaper. See, making it more tight. So I'm using the FX channels a lot. What I got here is like I did this, you know, and I like it very much. Going up here. All this up, and people are hands in the air, and then you want that gap over there. That's just a small, nice sound comp underneath, you know. And that small sound here, you know, triplets. Make sure that everybody knows that the triplets are coming. Now, if I'm gonna enter here, if I would enter here, it would be nice, and that was the first version. But then I said, no, that's too easy, you know. That's too easy. So let's do something crazy. And then I put a master effect, okay? And this is the track here, okay? There's no difference from here to here. There's no difference from here to here, okay?
So
this is the track.
Yeah,
this was the start of this was the entry. But then I put a master effect, and the master effect is on the master. And I put a distortion, a very strong distortion core. Well, this one I use this one. This time I use this one, but you can use any of the D16 pack. It's really strong compressor distortion. Without it, it's a track. So what I use here is actually, you can when you're editing a track, you can do few kinds of things to make the track more powerful. Okay. One thing is to make it very, 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 very strong and loud, and then quiet, or the other way around, very quiet and then very strong, very confusion and then straight. People do that in techno a lot, you know. You can hear like delays, delay out of sync, and then suddenly it all goes to be the same. So here I use the confusion, okay? And the production went to minus. From big track, it's suddenly a distorted, ugly, you know, mono, anything. And then when it opened up here, it sounds huge. That's the way I did it. It sounds here like mono and blah blah blah, and then with that. And then it started, and then all the bass come and everything, and it sounds big. So that was the trick here. This is the synth that you saw. This is the synth that you saw before, right? With the three synths, the yellow ones that I showed you before. Chopped it up, yeah, and chopped it up because it was a little bit moving. Also, it was a little bit traveling. There was an LFO on the pitch a little bit, and it bothers me. So I chopped it up to 1 bars, and then I start to play with it. Everything ends in audio in the end, you know. Then you can do,
okay, well,
and then you can do long ones.
What you just said, because I know for myself that's a really good way to work. So you're starting in MIDI, but you can't really get the sound sounding really fucking great until you put it into audio, process it, and then sometimes like different layers of processing. You know, when I'm teaching as well, I show people.
No. You can no. I don't leave that into audio in the audio is just the end part. You can fix a little bit small thing. You finish everything with the synthesizers. Everything. This is, for example, why in Still this is the last version of the track, and there is this still 3 synths here. Because I think it's okay and I don't need to touch it anymore, you know? But, and there's lots of automation on these synths. Look, for example, here, yeah? They're all going to arpege, this one, and then here they get coarse.
Okay, so we've got a question here from from Gordon about the arrangement of the tune and the sort of storytelling structure. It looks like these synths are sort of like the main kind of element in a way that lead the tune forward and allow that to develop. I mean, can you talk a little bit about your approach to arrangement? I mean, other music, because that's one thing that I've noticed a lot in your music. It's very melodically oriented. You about making sure that you have a good hook and something that people can hook onto. Otherwise, it's just an exercise in technicality. So, I mean, are you consciously thinking, okay, I'm going to write a tune that does this and then does that and then it does that, or do you sort of have one idea and then it develops onto the next one? What's your approach to sort of composition in that respect?
All right. We can take the answer for two sections. Section one is yes, as much as you get more music inside of your track, in our, how can I say, limited psytrance scene. When you're getting too much melodic, you sound too much sometimes. But as much as you can get melodic, and which is with the taste, it sounds great. It's for your benefit. More melodic, more movements, more harmony. Lead that combined with other leads inside of a track will make your track rich and more interesting, and much more musical. When it's musical, it's beautiful.
Theory?
Yeah, well, I learned musical theory, and I'm still learning all my life. You know, I wasn't a pianist. I was playing trumpet, which is not involving pressing keyboards. So more like it helped me more in the rhythm part, maybe. But I got very improved in the last 2-3 years with melodies, and well, this is bullshit. Yeah, this is chromatic. You know, chromatic kind of like but it's simple and it works. What I take from here as a melodic thing was actually making it going to the pitch, you know. So the pitch here on the pitch of this one, you know, will sound also good in 3-3-4 and in triplets. So, but in other tracks, you put more melodies inside. This is more like a working, very strong track, which have a little bit of melody elements. But I don't say it was like woo, very harmonic, you know. It's not. It's a very strong track, but very powerful technique track also. The melody part is not a big, but it's working, you know. You have the pad. You can take a pad also. When the glide's sitting on the arpeggiator here, and you change the notes, it sounds very full for me, and I like it. And then you have also a lead. You have also like some kind of like a. Where is the stab? There was a stab of something. Is this one? So I took a stab of a guitar like this, and then I changed the note under also. Goes up, and it sounds great. It sounds more like harmony for me. But the other thing that he asked this guy, I forgot his name, is about this lead that we saw, yeah? That it coming from a different part. And he's talking about edit-wise, the lead that came from here in the guitar, you know, and came from that part, was connecting that part of the 4-4 to the part of the 3-4s. And it's actually, that's why I call it the hook, you know, of the track, because he did some service, very good service to the track. He brings something from here, down from filter going up, and then goes to the break, and through the break goes out to the other part. And that's something when the lead is very interesting and you can do it, it's the best. Then the track sound have a solid hook.
The detune on that lead.
Yeah, well, you want it to be like a Simonish, isn't it? When you're doing triplet, always feel like good when you're doing some kind of like chorus when you're doing triplets, because it sounds like more like psychedelic. So actually, I throw all these three synths which one is the tal in mono, and then the silent, and I throw them inside of a group. Let's hear them alone for a second. This one is this one. It's really detuning, you know, really bothering.
How?
It's really detuning. How? Well, you can use the, I use the course outside in the group, but also I think there is some, no, there isn't. There is delay games. Let me see what there is here. Arpegge time. Okay, you got arpegge time here moving. So the arpegge time is, let's see the arpegge. Here you go, here. So actually the arpegge time is like, see, when you're going very, 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 it's getting really, really detuned. See? So I use the arpegge, you know, to make it more this one, and let's see about the other ones. No, it's not pitching, man. It's arpegge time. The arpegge time is getting very, very closer. Look. Like this. See? When you're repeating so many times, you know, like 64.
Yeah.
You know, it becomes like that. Just an effect that I like about this one. What about here? Let's see. That's a chord. That sounds like a chorus.